Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special edition of Soul School. As always, I always try to bring different people into the studio, and tonight is no exception, and I'm kind of nervous as always whenever I bring somebody that's big time in, and just, actually, I'm real nervous, because, well, I'll get into that in a little bit. We have P-Funk All-Star, one of my heroes, Greg Thomas, in the studio from out of Baltimore, Maryland. And if you know him the way that I know him, you'll understand why I'm nervous, because the Baltimore connection of P-Funk was very critical in the transition period of George Clinton, especially after the flashlight, One Nation, through the Atomic Dog and that whole trip. And when you think about the Baltimore connection, Gary Mudbone Cooper, Dennis Chambers, baddest drummer in the world, Rodney Skeet Curtis, even different people like Bunky, who we'll get into a little bit later on in the show, and he was schooling me on Billy Griffin of the Miracles. But without further ado, please welcome to the show one of my heroes, the one and only vocalist, horn player, Greg Thomas, P-Funk All-Star. Man, I finally got you in here. Last time I got Belita, he was in the background, he was in the background watching, but actually I got him in here, man, and just very excited, man. Very excited. Got you on the air now.
Thank you so much for having me.
Man, are you kidding, man? Parliament-Funkadelic, man. Where do you begin? And you guys know that I talk about Parliament-Funkadelic all the time on this show, as well as everybody else. And so much history with this group. And me and you were just sitting up even before we even get started. And we were talking about just the influence. And I was speaking on a friend of mine who manages Deborah Barnum and John Barnum, the late John Barnum, the great drummer of Led Zeppelin, and how he was influenced with the triplets and all the drum stuff by Tiki Full with a Parliament-Funkadelic. But you as a horn player, it's funny because when you think of Parliament-Funkadelic and the horn section parts, you know, you often think of Maceo and Fred and stuff like that. But man, you, Greg Boyer, who's been with Prince for quite a while, and Maceo and just different people, Benny Collins and Sam Peaks and all the different people, you guys have had quite a run, man, quite a run.
Yeah, well, we've been with the band for 30 plus years.
Man, that's, you know, it seems just like yesterday. Actually, how did you get the gig with George?
Well, to make a long story short, we had our band in Baltimore, Uncle Remis, me, Skeet, and Dennis Chambers, and my brother, a couple other guys, Kevin Oliver. And we used to go and play with another group from Baltimore, Madhouse, Mudbone Cooper.
Now, that was Mudbone's, yeah.
And Razor Sharp, and Peanut.
Wow, no, I didn't know that Razor and I knew about
Peanut
Madhouse.
Wasn't with the group. Peanut worked with Mudbone with another group, the Collection and the Civics.
Now, I didn't know that Peanut was from Baltimore area also.
Yes, Peanut's from Baltimore, yeah.
What is it, before you even get into how you got with George, what is it about Baltimore, man? Is it the water or the vibe? Because, you know, even James Brown took a lot of people from Baltimore. Most people don't know that, you know, the Royal Theater and just different things. What is it about Baltimore in that area, man? What do y'all, you know?
We just study, you know. We study and we try to be proficient on our instruments. And when we do what we do, you know.
Yeah, this is exciting for me.
Pretty positive.
Yeah, it's very positive because I was sharing with him, and I'll share it with you guys. I got a chance to go through Baltimore one time with the Fast Forward Track Club out of Vallejo, and we were there for the National Junior Olympics at Morgan State. And I just fell in love with the city. The humidity, it took me a minute to get used to, but there seemed to be a different kind of black thing that was happening there that I had never experienced. I've been through Texas. I've been to a few places, but Baltimore was very special. And if there was ever a place on the East Coast that I would settle, I can't get into shoveling no snow, but I like the vibe of that city, man.
Oh, yeah.
What was it like in the 70s when you guys were coming up there, man?
Oh, man, it was cool, you know. Black pride, you know.
Wow.
Everybody was doing the music, you know. People were positive, you know.
Yeah,
we got a lot of music came through there. New York, Philly, DC, you know. So a lot of music got channeled through there. So, you know, it was one of the meccas where we really studied a lot of music. And,
Now,
we learned a
so
lot.
you were around I mean, I'm sure you were around, but did you ever get a chance to see like the Soul Searchers and just different people like that when they were first coming around, or Trouble Funk or any of the real bands?
I believe it or not, I moved from Baltimore to DC, you know, in the late 70s.
Sure.
So I got a chance to meet up with Chuck Brown, matter of fact, I played with Chuck Brown for about 7 years. The P-Funk Horns, matter of fact.
Wow.
We played with Chuck for about 7 years, off and on, yeah.
Now, you know, it's a trip, because I just saw him just recently. He was on the Monique show. I don't know. You saw that?
I saw that, yeah.
I was looking at dude, 71 years old. And
still doing it.
I was like, oh, man. I said, this dude is a real G. He's a real, I mean, the way that they went into Bustin' Loose, and I was looking at the Monique's band that was playing, they looked like they were just having the time of their life, and I was just kind of like, this dude is a legend that most people don't even trip off of, man.
Right. Chuck's been doing it a long time.
I tell you, man. Now, Uncle Remis, what kind of stuff were you guys playing when you guys were in Uncle Remis, man?
Oh, man, we were playing real progressive stuff, man. We were playing, like we were talking about, Cold Blood.
Sure.
We would do Tower Power. We'd do some of our original stuff.
Wow.
We had big horn section, 4 horns, lead singer, you know.
So you say Skeet was in that band also?
Skeet was in that band. Yeah, Dennis Chambers.
This is
my brother plays saxophone.
No, this is
Joe
crazy. That's crazy, because that's not what you would call you guys a local band. Let me school you guys a little bit on this. Right now, Dennis Chambers has to still be, for the last 20 years, probably the baddest drummer on the planet. Skeet is what you would call Weather Report, Birdland. That dude has so many different technical things happening that unless you're really somebody that really studies theory and stuff, like even stuff that I can't even comprehend, but you feel it when he's playing. And I could only imagine. You have any audios and stuff, any of that stuff? I hate to put you on Front Street on the air.
Yeah, I have a few things.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm just imagining, because the only thing I can think of that would be, and it wouldn't be on the level of what you guys were playing, I'm sure, but would be like Slapback in L.A., whereas you could see a band that's supposed to be local, but I don't care who you are, if you Slave or Cameo or One Way, you really don't want to follow a band like that. So I can imagine what you guys really sounded like, man.
Yeah, we had a great sound.
Wow. So what was the first gig that you guys actually did with George, man? Was it on the Funkadelic tour, a Flashlight tour, or was it Motor Booty?
It was a Funkadelic tour.
Okay.
78. Getting back to what you were asking, Skeet had joined P-Funk because of Mudbone's request. Okay. Mudbone told George, "Oh man, it's this bass player. You gotta hear him." So he joined P-Funk. And he joined, and he was doing his thing, and he would keep me informed, you know. So we had to get another bass player for our group.
Okay.
So eventually the group broke up. Uncle Remis broke up. And me and my brother he started doing his thing. I started doing my thing. And me and Benny and Greg Boyer hooked up, and we were doing a local thing at the time. So the horn section was already set. And Skeet called me and said, the Horny Horns have to go out with Bootsy, so P-Funk's going to need a horn section. And he said, we need you to learn this music, and we need you to know it and be ready.
So the Funkadelic LP was already pretty much cut in the studio?
Funkadelic was already cut.
Wow. So
we come in, we rehearsed, and P-Funk was coming to Baltimore, so Skeet set it up just right. So they get to Baltimore, and then we come over to the hotel and we audition. So we run through some songs and they like it. And,
yeah, I'm
the rest is history.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't much of an audition, because knowing you guys the way that y'all play, this cat, y'all don't know. This cat didn't play with everybody you can think of, from Cameo to the Gap Band. I mean, like when the Gap Band was really doing their tours in the 80s, he definitely was around when Calhoun and the guys were around, man. Do you actually, before we move on to the next part of the subject, do you actually really miss the old days in reference to like when y'all were really young and hungry and playing? Is it still kind of, well, I know it's like that for you because you really enjoy playing, it's clear. But do you see the same zest in a lot of other musicians out now?
Well, some of them have it, and some of them don't. Some of them just go through the motions, and
it's just another gig.
yeah, like as you know, I take every gig seriously, and when I step on stage, it's professionalism all the time, and you know, I try to give the people what they want, and the people are here to see you do a show. They don't care if you're not feeling good. You know, you got to get up there and give the people the show that they pay for. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, well, I got a surprise for you. We're going to get to some entertainment. I'm going to show him something that he'll probably remember. It'll come back to him. But here's a show. I'm going to show you a quick clip, and then we'll be back to wrap Taste More in a few minutes. But this is a clip from the Strand at Redondo Beach. And I don't know if you remember this, but Robert Wilson jumped on stage with y'all.
I remember that. Oh, I remember that.
Man, y'all was lighting it up that night. That, you know, real quick, you guys had just left the Warfield Theater in San Francisco and played a couple of great shows up here. But when y'all got to L.A., the chick that starred in, I don't know if you remember the movie South Central. She was a DJ for KGFJ at the particular time, and she kind of brought you guys up, but it was a whole nother element. But let's get to a little bit of that, and we'll be back with special guest host Greg Thomas, P-Funk All-Star, in a few moments. Woo.
Just a radio. There is nothing wrong. We are taking control.